Okay, that took a little doing there. I decided to go live through YouTube because why? Why did I do that? Well, because that way I can do it through StreamYard and and then post it on locals. So this is on my local site right now. And why don't I put it on Greg's too? I'm going to go over to my locals now, and we're going to share this. This is kind of weird. I'm on the live stream and I'm sharing it as we go live here. I'm live streaming now. There we go. I just posted it over at Greg's site. So let's go back to my page just so we know that I'm there. And that's how we do it. Okay. Now, the thing that it's better when I do a live stream from locals. You're seeing the video right there on locals. This, you kind of have to click on the YouTube link. So it's a little bit weird, but we got to figure out how to do this. I got to figure out how to SMTP the video directly onto locals, because then I can use the StreamYard format here. Okay, so here's what's going on. We had a snow day today, nothing happening. Oh, here, Vicky's on here. Tony Marie Rigsby's on here. Good. So I can see you guys through the StreamYard chat, which is nice. All right. So I'm going to share the screen here. Oh, why don't I tell you about my day? So we had a snow day today. And by snow day, I mean the kids were home from school. My daughters are both at different schools. They both had school canceled today. But then their teachers just give them a lot of homework online. So they're in, doing their homework all day. So they just got a bunch more work. It probably would have been better just to go to school, Obviously back in my day when we had a snow day, I mean, it's like, they blow the horn. We go outside, we build a snowman, we go sledding. And, the teachers can't give you any homework. They can't contact you. Now they have you, they're right there. Anyway, did a quick shovel of my driveway. I know CB Michael was making fun of my dusting of powder, and he gets a lot more serious snow. And I'm sure he has a lot to say about what's going on out there in Iowa. Oh, no, wait, he's in Idaho, right? Don't believe me. I know the difference between Iowa and Idaho, but wait a minute. Oh, no, he is in Iowa. Council Bluffs is in Iowa. So it's Mike Baker's in Idaho. Yeah, when I did my thing with Mike Baker a few weeks ago, he's in Boise, Idaho, where I have been. I've also been to Iowa, but I've never been to Council Bluffs. Anyway, they're both cold. They're both cold. And it's, during the Iowa caucuses, it's been very snowy and everything like that. Oh, Tass is on here too. That's great. Okay, so here's Tass, take a look at this. Here we go. Tass knows my mom, and I'm going through all the old stuff here, and found some Tass artwork. This was, there's my parents there, an old picture of them, and then there's all our Shiloo kids with the Bruins hats on. Anyway, that, I think Tass sent that to my mother, and she had it in her collection. Here's an old Mother's Day card I made for my my mother, and I have my famous red shoes. I used to wear red sneakers in high school. That was kind of my trademark. Anyway, there's a lot of old stuff in this envelope. And now, today was a snow day. So my wife and I shoveled out the driveway, and the kids could have helped us, but we still think in our mind that we have little tiny children who can't lift a shovel. So we got out there, we shoveled snow. I took the dog out. We played in the snow. I threw snowballs at the dog, and we had a great time. Then I got back in here, and I was doing some work and just kind of going over things, cleaning up things, working on my show, and I had to send a bunch of media to this guy that's helping me organize the show and put it onto a PowerPoint presentation. So, I just got a bunch of busy work done today. Get things out of the way on a snow day. So then I had gotten a CD in the mail. This guy sent me his barbershop quartet CD, the Sharplifters Quartet. I've been talking to this guy online, and he said, "Hey, let me send you my CD." So this guy had a championship quartet in the 60s and 70s, and he lives down in Florida. He watches Fox News, and so we started communicating. And I said, "Send me your CD." So he sent it to me, and I uploaded it to my site, and it mentioned on the liner notes that the Sharplifters had sung when they were in Los Angeles, sung on the Joey Bishop show. Now, Joey Bshop had, Joey Bshop, he was part of the Rat Pack, hung out with Sinatra, Sammy Davis, all these guys like that. But he's kind of he was like the least famous of the Rat Pack guys. I guess, Peter Lawford maybe. But for people of that era, they all remember Joey Bshop. But young people, they're not really clear on who Joey Bshop was. But I know who Joey Bshop was. He had a sitcom that was produced by Danny Thomas and Desilu Productions, and looked a lot like, like the Danny Thomas Show and the Dick Van Dyke Show, that kind of thing. And then he had a variety show as well. So I'm assuming the Sharplifters sang on the Joey Bshop variety show, and they don't have any video of these guys. They just have the CD. So I wrote to the guy and I said, "Hey, do you know where the videotapes of that Joey Bshop appearance is? It would be great to see the quartet on the Joey Bshop show." So I'm going on YouTube and I'm looking around, and there's, not the entire show, but there's a certain number of Joey Bshop episodes on YouTube. So I started looking at them, and I just kind of went down a bit of a Joey Bshop wormhole. And let me show you here. Let's share the screen. Where are we here? Joey Bshop show. Okay, take a look at this. This is the Joey Bshop variety show. Jimmy Stewart is a guest, as is Carol Burnett. And let's just take a look a little bit of it here. Hold on, let me make sure I'm I do this sometimes. I'm going to take that out. I want to make sure I'm sharing the computer audio. So let's do this. No, that's on. You can hear it, right? Kerry, I hear Joey Bshop's name and I think of Regis. Regis is on this show. He's on this episode. Wait, maybe he was always on. Was he Joey Bshop's announcer? That's so funny. That's not something I knew. Okay, Bill Lobley is here as well. Hey, Bill, I'm going to send you a link, Lobley, if you want to join me, if you want to jump in. Here, if you, I don't know if you have your webcam on, but if you do, I'm going to send you an invite, and you can jump in here. Hold on a second. I'm emailing Bill Lobley right now. Okay, this is funny. I just sent an email to Bill Lobley if he wants to join me. If you're sitting down and if your webcam works, you can use that link I just sent you, and you can join me in the studio. Okay, now that we're here, let's look at some more of the Joey Bshop Show.
My next guest has received 5 Academy Award nominations, 1 Oscar for The Philadelphia Story, 2 New York Film Critics Best Actor Awards, and Francis Trophy for Best Actor. He is now to receive the Photoplay Magazine Editors Award, and it says, "To James Stewart for rising to the heights of his profession, for distinguished service to his country, and for carving out for himself a quiet career of humanitarian achievements through tireless efforts and generosity on behalf of all Americans, and dedicated responsibility to his community and to his industry. Will you meet not only a fine actor, but a wonderful citizen, Mr. James Stewart."
Okay, look, that was Jimmy Stewart's introduction. It's interesting. He's unshaven here. He's kind of in a tuxedo, but he's unshaven because I think he was like working on a role, or he had to have the beard for some reason. The show is very, Joey Bshop is not. It's like in contrast with the Tonight Show. If you look at the old Johnny Carson's, Johnny just had a way of keeping the show moving, and he just had command of the show. Joey Bshop does not have the same command of the show. He doesn't really know. He's not as good at television as someone like Johnny Carson. I guess that doesn't surprise you, but the show's a total mess. It's a total mess, but once you start watching it, you can't stop. Let's watch a little more of Jimmy Stewart, and think of Jimmy Stewart on the Tonight Show and the way his kind of bumbling persona really, there were so many famous appearances with him and Johnny Carson, and when you look back on them, it's like classic TV. But watch this; it's just kind of, you'll see, it's the Joey Bshop version of that.
Our sincere congratulations.
I didn't know what I was supposed to do here, Joey, for this, but this reminds me of the first time I was ever presented with anything. It was in high school back in Pennsylvania, and I made it a point to say all the right things in my acceptance speech, and I said all the right things. I told them what an honor it was, and how I felt that a lot of other people deserved it much more than I did. And I thanked about 28 people and for their assistance and their help. And I thanked the president and the governor of Pennsylvania and the mayor of the town. And I thanked the janitor for having the auditorium nice and warm. And then I got into integrity and brotherhood and friendship. And I was really getting rolling on the speech. And then all of a sudden, everybody got up and went home. And so if it's all right with photoplay, I don't want to do that to you, Joey. And so I'll just say thank you for this.
It's remarkable, really, how Joey Bshop has no idea how to deal with this at all. He's just kind of like dumbfounded. I remember those old appearances of Jimmy Stewart on the Tonight Show, and so Jimmy Stewart's doing his thing. I mean, he wasn't a professional talk show guest, but when he would go on the Tonight Show, Johnny Carson would kind of listen to his stories, and he would interject, and he would say, "Oh, that's interesting. It's funny the way you said it," and he would just keep him going with his story. Joey Bshop just kind of sitting there, doesn't know what to do, kind of awkwardly looking at his notes. The whole thing falls flat. It's a complete disaster. But it's really funny to look at that. The whole show. Look, you can see some of the other stuff with Carol Burnett. Well, there's the head of this magazine, Carol Burnett. Take a look at her.
This is the second time receiving the Photoplay magazine medallion. How are you feeling?
Oh, terrific.
I mean,
What
it's
is
so funny. He's just no good at his job. He's no good. But he's a talented guy. I mean, you can watch other Joey Bshop. You see him on his sitcom. He's okay. You see him do stand up on TV. He's okay. He's competent and he's funny and he can dance and sing. There is a scene from the variety show. I'm going to show it for you now. It's actually unbelievable. I'm watching the Joey Bshop show in color. It's a later episode, and his guests are Sammy Davis Jr. and his brother, and then Sammy Davis Sr. is on the show. So they all his brother and Sammy Davis Sr. kind of make appearances, but we should watch this because it's really quite amazing what we're looking at here. All right. I'm going to play it. Okay. Video file. What are we going to play here? Sammy Davis Sr. Here it is. I got that thing separately. This is the Joey Bshop show. Okay. And I'm going to play the beginning. They come back from a commercial. It takes a little time to see. Come back from a commercial and they're just kind of talking. And Sammy's giving him dance lessons. And then his brother gets up there. And then we see Sammy Davis bring his father on stage, who I've never seen before. I've never seen Sammy Davis Sr. Take a look at this.
On ABC. Lawrence Harvey stars in A Walk on the Wild Side, this week's Sunday night movie on ABC.
Yeah, we can pick it up right here.
Can we go from here?
Certainly.
Are we on that? Hey,
course,
Joe.
yes.
I just said something to the audience that I wanted to say personally. That I really mean it. Thanks to the background that you and I and guys our age went through in the early end of the business. You're able to move, and the shim sham, that little step that we did together, that is known by every performer in the entire world. It really is. That 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like a national anthem for hoofers, and every performer really knew it. But more important.
More important than anything.
No, wait a minute.
I challenge you right now, my brother Moish, who happens to be in the audience.
I know.
From South Philadelphia. Come on up here a minute, Moish. I'll show you dancing. Come up here a minute. Just for a minute.
Now, Joey Bshop's brother comes up out of the audience.
Okay? Now I'll show you something. You guys know I want bye-bye blues and stop tempo. Bum, bum,
Can I do it the hard way, Joe?
He's going to do it the hard way for you. He won't even move his feet.
I don't even move the feet. Jack.
Watch this.
Okay. Good.
Whenever you're ready, John.
This is fancy. Look.
Oh, there they they can't
Joey
hear me.
Bishop's brother gets mad.
Take it to the top, John.
The audience is clapping because he can't hear him do his bit here.
I'm gonna hit him right in his taps. Go ahead, go ahead.
And if you feel like it, finish with the dance. It's all right with me.
Remember this one, Sam?
The video's a little messed up here. It's that way on YouTube. It kind of catches every once in a while. Now, look at this. Oh, Bill, I sent the link to Hambill 22. I'll send it again. This is Sammy Davis Jr.
Give one chorus, lay one chorus on him.
Go.
Listen to them taps. Pump, pump. Yep.
Look at this. Can you believe what we're looking at here? We're watching Sammy Davis Sr. How old is he? This is like 1971. Now, like I said, the video's probably on. Look at that. I'm going to put these links. I'll put the link to both of these episodes on local so you can check them out. How about these outfits too with the Nehru jackets? Incredible. He goes and sits back down. Sammy Davis Sr. So I'm sitting here this afternoon, I'm watching this. I'm thinking like, I can't even believe I'm looking at this. Sammy Davis Jr. and his dad on stage. It's all chocolate here.
Knows racing and cars.
Most of the drivers.
Nothing safe from Alexander Mundy.
Nothing.
Okay, I'll remove that. Take that out. Really incredible. Now, again, I'm making fun of Joey Bishop because his talk show was a disaster. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a disaster. It was just something you could watch on TV. But when you look back at it now, you're kind of comparing it to The Tonight Show and the great skill of Johnny Carson. And Joey Bishop doesn't have any of those skills. He's kind of a theater person. He's a nightclub guy, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know where to look. He's sitting, looking away. He's looking at his notes. He doesn't know. Why would he? Why would he know? Talk shows are weird. It's a very strange skill, you know. But he was one of these guys who could do everything. He could do stand-up. He could sing. He could dance. His brother, obviously, a song and dance man himself. And Sammy Davis is even talking in that episode about the, I think I saw you saw when we came back from the commercial, the fact that Sammy was talking about that's the way everybody knew these dance steps. They all had to know the same kind of routines because that's how you made it in show business. But the Joey theme song, there's actually, it's funny. Take a look at this. Joey Bishop. On a second. I'm gonna share my screen. And here we go. Take a look at a couple of the different openings of the Joey show.
Lately with something called 5 or even 10 people live together.
This guy's
Personally, I
always
can't
smoking
see
on
being
TV.
married to
Joey
10
Bishop
people.
smoking the whole
By
time.
the time you kiss everybody goodnight, it's time to get up.
Sammy Davis was smoking.
Okay. And anyway, Audrey Meadows, Dick Martin, Joey Bishop, Howard Cosell, and myself are going to show you what it would be like if group marriage ever really caught on.
Oh my gosh, I can't. This is unbelievable. I would sit and watch this
I know,
stuff all
Jay, I
afternoon.
cut myself shaving.
Absolutely
I think somebody's been
insane.
using my razors to shave their legs.
I'm sorry, I won't do it anymore.
Hey, we worked out the schedule for the household duties yet today?
Yes, Perry, today is our turn to do the dishes. You wash and I'll dry.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I think I'll take a bath.
Good idea.
Oh, you wash, I'll dry.
I think I'll stay dirty.
Say, did you guys hear about Sally Rogers? She's getting married to Pete and Sonia and Fred.
Oh, I gotta file this for
Really?
later. It's unbelievable. They're doing a sketch about group marriage with Dean Martin, Howard Cosell, Dick Martin, Audrey Meadows from. It's unbelievable. Okay. Here we go. Let's get back to my stream here. And okay. Now I got to shut this off. I'm hearing the echo from the YouTube stream. Okay. So I sent a link to Bill Lobley. Let me call him. See what's happening. I mean, this was a very impromptu live stream. I don't care if it's sloppy. I mean, this isn't the Joey Bishop show, right? There we go, Lobley. Hey, Bill, I'm still on. I'm on the live stream here. I just called you. Okay, I had it must have been the Pam Bill, the other one. You know, the other email. So I'll send it to Gimlet, and then you can hop on. Talk to you later. Send it to the wrong email. Let's do this here. Invite. And there we go. Well. Oh, I got a message from Jackie the Joke Man. Been busy all day, just getting to email. Tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow. I'm trying to set up a live stream with Jackie Martling. He's got a new project coming out. It's like a documentary about the Joke Man, something like that. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. Let's look at the comments here. Takes a Thief theme song. Very good. That's a classic one. So I was looking at a lot of different Joey Bishop shows, trying to come up with trying to find this quartet, because these guys sang on the Joey Bishop show. So anyway, I emailed the guy and I said, "Hey, do you have the videotape of that? So if he does, maybe we'll do a little podcast of that, a little live stream." So let me share the screen. This was happening this week. Take a look. Gutfeld tweeted this out. He tweeted out. He says, "Jesus, for a minute there, I thought this was Tom Shalhoub." and other people were chiming in as well. There was a lot of people that were remarking on this video, reminding them of the Joe Biden bit.
Any comment on the political change in Poland as the new pro-European Union government is taking over? I think that's very good. Any comment on the political change in Poland as the new pro-European Union government is taking over? I think that's very good. Any comment on the political...
So when I saw the video, it did also remind me of me a little bit, but it also reminded me of, let's get rid of that. And it reminded me of something else. I'm going to show you here. Let's add to the stage. Go over here. Greg. Get rid of that. Close it. I have a little trouble doing that. Okay, remove that. And now let's show you this here. It reminded me of this guy. Sometimes Joe Biden reminds me of the kid from Deliverance. Do you know what I'm talking about? And so I kind of looked up the kid from Deliverance. He's still around. And if he was born in 1956, but he still plays the banjo. And he looks a lot better as an adult. He looks a little bit like, if you can see his face here. Can you see that? Yeah. He looks a little like Steve Martin, maybe? Right? No, Robin Williams. That face, the way he's smiling right there, it just kind of reminded me of Robin Williams. All right, so let's lose that and let's bring in Bill Lobley here. Bill.
There you go.
Oh, look at that. Oh, Bill, like this is like semi-professional setup, professional setup. It's like
I
actual.
had to take the good microphone out, so.
Now, what do you do for ears? I'm going to share with you, Mike, because I used to always do when I was in the studio. I was always sitting here, but I never liked the way these cans looked.
No, not on Zooms. On Zooms, I put these in. See, now it's going behind my head. It's kind of like what Bono.
I got it. Look,
Madonna
I got
used.
the earpiece from my Fox News IFBN or whatever it's called.
Your IUD.
And,
I call it the IUD, and they get upset with me.
Yeah.
So, Bill, it's not an IUD because I'm inserting it in the wrong end. But not that I have that particular end, but no, I got these, and because I was doing Zooms during the pandemic and everything, and I looked like an idiot, looked like I'm in mission control. So
right.
I just got these things, and I probably spent too much money on them, and I wish the quality was better, not like the over the ear things, but yeah, they're I forgot who makes them. Shure makes them, and they came highly recommended, and I just dropped the it's like a little pigtail. Like behind the back.
Very
but
good.
They're in there. So they look. I think it looks better when you're trying to look impressive.
Well, you got the double. That's good. So you can kind of hear in stereo. I just have the one earpiece. These are the things we wear. Most people they see these kind of earpieces and they think like, what are people telling you what to say when you're on Gutfeld? It's like, no, it's the producer has it. If the segment goes long or if they have to cut it short, you can hear and they'll say, we got to go to break, and so they'll talk to Greg during the show, and then sometimes they'll talk to the
they had it when we did it. We did a couple episodes of Quiz Show, and I was mad because I could hear them talk, but they would never give me the answers.
Right.
So
exactly.
But anyway, but yeah, how about that Joey Bshop stuff?
It's it was hard to describe the wormhole that I had gone down all afternoon, and I don't know if people were understanding the perspective, because I was kind of making fun of Joey Bshop because he was not in terms of he was a very talented guy. He was very successful in showbiz. He kind of could do everything, but when you look at those old tapes and you compare it to the Tonight Show or anybody, I mean, even forget about Johnny Carson, just comparing him to Jimmy Fallon. Like, he just didn't know what to do on TV, and nobody was able to tell him.
Well, no, because even in like Ocean's 11, he was like the 10th banana. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like, but still, that was like acting stuff and stand-up stuff. But I think, the line between being a stand-up and hosting, it is a fine line. But if you can't cross it, you're stuck, waiting for your writers or your bits or something. But the idea of that free-flowing interview thing it's difficult, and he wasn't
Yeah.
set up for that. That's probably why
Yeah.
they brought in Regis Philbin to be like his second
Yeah, and
banana.
it was funny because Carrie mentioned I always think of Regis Philbin, and I said he was on this episode, but I guess I didn't even realize he was Regis Philbin the Ed McMahon for Joey
Yeah,
Bishop? Was that
I
what it
think
was?
he
Yeah,
was. I think he was. Yeah, but as
and it's
far as
funny
I know,
because
because I watched, when Regis was doing with Regis and Kathy Lee, I would watch them, and
yeah,
it would come up that when I was doing the Joey Bishop show, and
right.
so
Yeah, and funny is how dismissive of Regis Philbin Joey Bishop is because he's the one with the status and you know um basically Joey Bishop is treating Regis Philbin the way that Bill O'Reilly used to treat Jesse Wall.
and that's all changed now.
I know,
I'm
but
trying
you
to
know
do
what?
I'm trying to do This Is Tom's World, but
Yeah.
the camera angle's wrong. I am not responsible for that. Not when you contact me 5 minutes before I do it. I'm like, I gotta get set up. Look what I'm
Yeah.
wearing. I'm wearing a Captain Crunch T-shirt. But
Oh,
anyway,
yeah, look at that.
yeah. So
That's great. So, Bill, how were you? Were you snowed in today?
I have a friend who lives in Buffalo, and I sent him a picture of our snow, and he just laughed and laughed
Yeah,
and laughed. So, but anyway,
that was Stevie Michael on Locals. I posted a picture. I say, "Hey, it's a snow day," and he was like, "Snow day?" And and then he posted a picture from Council Bluffs, of his roof. Basically the whole house is covered with snow, and you have to get out the
Oh
door.
yeah, yeah, and it's like he told a couple stories. One was like last year there was a snow day, the day of the game, and they said that everybody knows where Josh Allen lives in Buffalo. He's the quarterback for the Bills, and he said that the fans who normally be like, "Get the hell off my property," they were all surrounding. I said, "What are they doing in my front yard?" They were shoveling his driveway so he could get to Orchard Park for the game. So,
Oh yeah.
so they're rabid fans. So apparently, now this guy decided he wasn't going to do it, but you could have gone into the stadium and shoveled the field. Which, it sounds like kind of like, it's Tom Sawyer. Do you know what I mean? This is
Yeah.
Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer. It's like paint my fence. It's like everybody gets to come in and shovel, the 100-yard football field. But that's what they did. And all the fans go in. Maybe they paid them, a pittance.
I think they're paying them, because who's playing now? Was Buffalo? Because I just saw some video of Buffalo, right?
Yes, they won.
And the
They
guy,
beat the Steelers.
okay, so the guy, the fans were shoveling, and this guy was shoveling snow shirtless, and then they were, they shovel off the stands and the seats and everything, and they have a chute, like a garbage chute, that goes
Yeah.
down to like a dumpster. And this guy jumped into the garbage chute and he went sliding down into the thing. It was just a video I just saw on
I know. I saw it too. It's gone viral. It's like a
Yeah.
viral, snow flume. But I
But
see
they pay
guys
him
like
20
that.
bucks. They said 20 bucks.
Yeah, $20 you get in, and now do they get to go to the game? Do you like bump a season ticket holder? But apparently they spend all the time shoveling the field, but not a lot of time shoveling the stands. So it served like a double purpose. One, they had confetti to throw, which was snow confetti, and two, just
Yeah.
by letting them in, they were effectively clearing the stands out, so people could sit there. But it really was something to watch because Pittsburgh, they weren't even sure they're going to get up there, and I'm sure Pittsburgh's mindset was like, "What are we going to do with this snow?" Along with how we're going to beat the Bills. But I think when they split the infinitive like that, there was no way they were going to win. They're like, talk about a home field advantage. They
Yeah.
probably practice in the snow. They don't have
Yeah, yeah.
tackling dummies. They have snowmen. They build snowmen that are shaped like, Kelsey. What's his name?
It's
The
like those
Eagle.
famous old the NFL films. We used to watch those of the
Oh, yeah.
whatever those famous games are with in the
These
snow where they're
frozen
just
warriors on the field
yeah,
together. But it's like you can, and it could be anything. It's like the rain began to fall, and it's just a rainstorm. Umbrellas were opened, and
yeah.
hopes were dashed. And I would do them. We're watching the thing, and it's like some guy putting his helmet on. Helmets come on, pads You know, it's like helmets, pads, and the players take the field. They should do it for like the referee, you know, the whistle around his neck, blowing furiously to end the play, and throwing the flag. So
Do you
yeah,
know
NFL
that
films
guy,
work.
the NFL Films guy who used to do those narrations? Do you know who that was?
No, what was his name?
I
Don't
don't
tell me
know, but
Gilbert Gottfried.
no, I mean, it just sounds
These
like, you know,
intrepid
because
players.
you sound like the guy, and I'm thinking like it was that voice of the, you know, that we used to watch
Yeah,
all the
no, yeah,
time.
I don't know his name, but for anyone who wasn't around watching NFL films, and by the way, it was film. It wasn't videotape. They'd have film crews, and then
Yeah.
they would edit it, I guess, in time to do, you know, the NFL films things. And but this guy, it was really all about two things, you know, slow motion for
Yeah.
anything, you know, and you know, the incredible, you know, photography or cinematography, and then you know, this guy, you know, that deep, you know, deep resonant
Yeah. We're gonna
warriors
look him up. I'll
on the.
post that. I have to post a lot of things on locals. I'm gonna post the Joey Bishop videos and the and I'll post the NFL Films thing because I'm gonna have to look that guy up and see, you know, the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
you
been
don't.
obsessed the past few days. I've been like listening to the trolley song, clang clang clang, you know,
Judy
ding ding
Garland
ding with the
version.
trolley. Yeah, yeah. The Judy Garland version, yeah, which
Yeah,
is an incredible
and I'm
song.
straight as an arrow, by the way,
I
and I
mean,
know that, and I know
yeah,
that.
well, you and I know we both have a great appreciation of Judy, but we're not, you
No,
know, we're
not
not
that
Judy fans. We're not
no, no,
Judy fans,
but
right?
she was it was just amazing, you know, and so there you go. But anyways, Easter
I
Parade,
mean,
right? Is
she
that
was
clank,
so
clank, clank with the trolley?
incredibly talented, and when you start looking at the um, you know, the whole body of work, and you know, starting with the, you know, the Wizard of Oz, but then all those musicals she did, and Meet Me in St. Louis was where the trolley song came
That's
from,
right. Yes, not Easter
and
Parade, right?
so that's right, and I said to my friend Bob Martin, you know Bob, I said to him today, Bob, I've been
Bob
listening
Martin
to the
is
trolley
Mr.
song.
Music. Mr. Music
Yeah,
is Bob Martin.
well, yeah, and Bob Martin, by the way, for the people listening, he's the guy who sings in my quartet, and he does all the arrangements for the Ragtime Gals. So like, um, Bob knows a lot about music.
And Scotch. And Scotch. He knows his
Yep,
scotches.
good at the Scotch too. And so
No, I'm kind of
I texted Bob and I said, Bob, trolley song got top 10 songs of all time. The trolley song. I mean, I'm talking about, you know, American musical theater songs, basically the American musical songbook.
The songbook.
And it's such a good song. And that's another thing. I'm going to post it on locals. It's perfect. It is a perfect song. The intro, you know, with my my hair piled high upon my head, you know, the
Yeah,
with
yeah.
my high tone collar and my ba, you know, I don't even know the lyrics, but the
And then
the
it hits and it's all over.
yeah, then she goes
Clang,
clang
clang,
clang clang with
clang
the
with the
trolley.
trolley.
It's like it's the perfect musical theater song. It tells a story, and then it just goes right into the bridge, you know, with the I hit my hat, da, 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 I, da, 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 I asked her name, da, da, you know, the whole
Yeah.
thing. Then you go from the bridge, it goes flying into the chorus, clang 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 with the trolley, and then at the end, you know, he stays on with her, and then you know they hold hands and they're riding the trolley. It's such a great song. So anyway, I've been listening to
Well,
it
any
on like a
great
loop.
musical comedy song, and it doesn't just you know it tells a story. It moves the story forward. A good musical comedy song never is just standalone. So
Yeah,
there's action or a call to action in it, and that's
that's
and
so right.
yeah.
That's like, you know, that's the whole thing with a musical, right? What's happening before the song is sung, then they sing the song, and then what's happened after, and then things change. Things will never be the same after that song. You know,
All
like
right, so here's a
if
perfect
I loved
example,
you.
and
Yeah,
or that's a good one. Perfect example, which is one of the most active examples I think in musical comedy history, is "The King and I, Shall We Dance?" So it's like when that happens, and you see Yul Brynner or whoever happens to be the king, if it's anybody but Yul Brynner, including John Stamos or whatever. So it's like to see him go from the king is upon his mind, it will, and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
then to say, and the way he did it on stage, he just flew, and it changes everything, and it's that song. It's like on a what is it? Shall we dance on a bright cloud of music? Shall we fly?
Jerome Kern, right? Jerome Kern,
Right.
King
So
and I.
anyway, a perfect example of like what the hell just happened. The king is human
Yeah.
and capable of love, which I think Anna knew all along. But anyway, so yeah, any good song in a show is like that. I think that's my opinion anyway.
Yeah. And but Jerome Kern, who lived up the street from here, he if you go around the corner, whenever I walk the dog, we walk by Jerome Kern's house,
Do you
and
whistle?
it's a great
You whistle
house.
when you go by?
What's that?
Do you whistle any?
I do. I was probably
whistle a
whistling the
happy
trolley song
tune,
today.
so no one will suspect I'm afraid.
So I text Bob Martin and
mean,
I
like,
say, do you know who wrote the trolley song? He didn't know. Do you know, Bill?
No. Is it
I'm going to tell
Hammerstein?
you.
Is it
Hugh Martin and Ralph Blaine. Who the heck are those guys? Hugh Martin and Ralph Blaine. They were the guys who they hired to write the music.
Well,
and
these are
lyrics
these guys that
for
are slaving over the
Me and St.
piano, as
Louis.
they say, in shirt sleeves. One of them's got suspenders on.
Yeah.
One's smoking a cigarette, and the guy's like, "How about this?" He goes, "How about this?" And then they put it together, and then they present it, and it's he's he's probably presenting it singing like the female song with a cigarette out of his mouth,
Yeah.
And then the backers, director's like, "I like that one. I like that one. That's a good one. That's So yeah, those guys are amazing. Some of those old song crafters.
Yeah. But I mean, for two guys whose names I don't know, because we all know Rodgers and Hammerstein, we know Jerome Kern, we know Gershwin and all this stuff. But these two guys, Meet Me in St. Louis. Okay. The trolley song. The Boy Next Door. Great song from that show. And Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
I'll say that. If
That's in there.
done right, that's a song that should tear your heart out.
Yeah. But so anyway, couple of guys we don't even know. And I'm thinking, like, as I'm listening to the trolley song, I'm obsessed with the song over the past week and how great it is and what a great tune it was. They probably wrote it in a weekend under a deadline. Like you said, they're smoking cigarettes. They got to get a song. Judy needs a song for the end of Act 2 or whatever it was, right? And they cranked it out. They were probably miserable. They weren't getting paid enough. I'm sure all they did was complain. Judy Garland's on amphetamines because the studio is forcing her to take drugs, for to keep her weight
Keeping
down.
her chest
She's
down so she's
losing her
not too
mind.
busty.
Yeah. So, but then when you see Meet Me in St. Louis, it's unbelievable. It all comes off. It's the greatest thing in the world. But at the time, these guys were just throwing it together.
Well, yeah, but that's like any MGM musical. Like Fred Astaire was apparently a taskmaster. Okay, the dance had to be perfect.
Yeah.
And it really in not always one take, but these long single takes. And I'm sure by the end of the day, his feet were bleeding. But it's like when you see it, you see the finished number, it looks effortless.
Yeah.
How many girls in the Esther Williams swimming pool didn't get it right, or they bubbled up too much, or their foot was it's like, do it again, girls, and they're doing it underwater. So yeah, it's like the efforts that go into it, like with anything in film, it's like, oh, that looked pretty easy. It's like that took that was 16 shots, 4 cameras, and 3 stuntmen, one of them who's no longer with us, and it's just like, oh, the car just jumped.
By the way, Carrie says, Meet Me in St. Louis. They shot that scene in one take. I guess she's talking about the trolley song. Now I've got to go watch the movie now because I recently saw A Star Is Born with Judy Garland and James Mason.
Well, that's the original.
I mean, not the original. It was like Frederick March or something. What was the first one?
But Judy, was
Judy
Frederick
Garland's.
March
No, there's one before that. There's one from the 30s.
that's right,
black
the
and white.
original, not the definitive, as opposed to the original.
Yeah,
it was
I
Frederick
think
March, right?
I think so. But
or that's the one with Judy Garland. Wait, that was Ray Milland. Not Ray Milland, James Mason.
James Mason, yeah,
Right,
perfect.
Judy
And you know
Garland.
what? So, okay, I saw the Star is Born late night recently. Obviously, great, ridiculous. Judy's already like past her prime. She's already like, she looks way older than she should. Like she's not even that old in it, but she's like, it was things were, she was having
Yeah.
a rough time. Nevertheless, it's incredible. It's incredible. She is so good in it. There's like, Judy Garland has become such a thing, like an iconic, figure or whatever, but you forget how excellent she was. I mean, she was so ridiculously good. And there's that Born in a Trunk sequence that she does. That's this whole medley. And
Oh,
it's
that's
like, it
right.
goes on for like a half an hour. It's like a half hour long. And when you watch it, you realize that I think Gene Kelly ripped off that whole sequence when he did the uh, the thing in Gotta Dance, Gotta Dance, that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's totally ripped off. Like hers came first. I'm pretty sure. I gotta check this. But when you look at the whole sequence, she has that whole thing. She has this whole audition sequence where she's like dancing or whatever. And like Gene Kelly was like, just rip that whole thing off. I'm doing that. Like,
But then again, it's Gene Kelly doing
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's like Be a Clown, from
Yeah.
Singing in the Rain.
That's right.
It's like you watch that. It's like, first of all, you can't stop watching it. It's like, and then it's just like it is such an uplifting thing. You know what I
Well,
mean?
Be a
Again, it
Clown.
moves the story
Be a
forward,
Clown
but
is from I think it's from The Pirate, right? That's Judy Garland. Be a
no, not Be
clown.
a Clown. No,
No,
that's
Be a
from
Clown
Singing in the
was
Rain.
no. Singing in the Rain. You're mixing it up, Bill.
Oh
Singing
no,
in the Rain was the ripoff of Be a Clown. It was Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh,
Make
make
'em
'em
laugh. That's not
laugh.
Be a Clown.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, my
But
mistake. But
yeah,
I think you know what I'm saying. It's just the way that unfolds, and it's like, how is this guy still alive? Yeah, Make
yeah.
'em laugh. But yeah, Be a Clown. You're right.
It's
Again.
so funny because
Oh, thank
I
God!
mean the
Now I
song,
feel completely straight because I mixed them up.
but that song, so Be a Clown, big hit song from like whatever Harold Arlen or whoever wrote The Pirate. I think it's The Pirate, but it was a Gene Kelly. I think it was Gene Kelly and Judy Garland, right? But she comes out, be a clown, and she does this whole thing with the
Oh, and she has
clown
the thing
makeup
with
on.
them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're doing Singing in the Rain, and the producer, whoever it was, Zanuck or one of these guys, he was like, we need a comedy number for what's his name there? Cosmo Kramer. Cosmo no, what's his name?
Michael
Donald
Richards.
O'Connor. He's like,
Oh, that,
we need
yes,
a Donald.
okay, yes.
Yeah, he's like, we need a goofy number for Donald O'Connor. And then he was like, Be a Clown. I want a song like Be a Clown. And the guy was like, okay. So then you're like, make them laugh, make them laugh. He just rips off the song. I mean, they just ripped it off.
Yeah, but isn't it like that in television? It's like whoever is first, the Munsters or the Addams Family. It's like, well, we got the Addams Family, so we got the Munsters. It's like, well, we got Bewitched. Well, we got I Dream of Jeannie. It's just like, it's just so, in a way, it's incestuous. So for them, and there's enough similarities and enough differences that they can both kind of stand on their own. But both started in black and white and went to color. But of course, Addams Family and Munsters stayed in black and white. But
yeah, they had to.
But
right?
anyway, I always found that interesting, that just how close, and then just and they're interchangeable in terms of, well, this came first. Enchanted Girl, it's Bewitched, or Enchanted Girl, she's a genie, genie. Which? So which one was first? I don't know. Bewitched or I Dream of Jeannie. Have to look them up. I doubt they were more. The start of them were probably no more than like a year or so apart, because one network said, NBC's got that, well, then we want it.
Yeah.
Then, CBS wants it.
What did you think of those shows? I liked Bewitched. It seemed a proper show to me. I Dream of Jeannie just seemed too inappropriate to me. I didn't like it as a kid.
Wait. First of all, how old were you? And, Barbara Eden, and you can see her navel. So,
I know. But I didn't. She lived in the jar.
It's like,
it was
I couldn't
weird.
get enough of Barbara Eden. But while it's like, I'm not going to use the verbs that I would like to in this in this forum, but Jeannie is the girl you wanted to casually date. But Samantha Stevens, Elizabeth Montgomery, is the girl you wanted to marry. So in other words, if you could find a girl in a bottle who would do whatever you wanted, it would have to be Barbara Eden. But if you happen to fall in love with a girl who's a witch, that should be Samantha Stevens. So or, Elizabeth Montgomery. But yeah, so I mean, I like both of them. I like, I like the whole conceit. Walking along the beach, you're an astronaut, blah blah blah. Here's a bottle,
it was a
and
great
your wish is my
opening.
commandment. And I'm really not sure the origin story for Samantha Stevens, but maybe she's just a witch girl who wanted to live a normal life, kind of like Ariel and Little Mermaid. She wanted to go where the real people were. So I don't know how that started, but it is
But both
interesting. Now,
husbands were very they were really
they were hapless.
discouraging of the use of the powers,
Yeah, it's like, listen, I'm sure there were, 70s adult films that, made full use of like, if I had a genie like that, but that doesn't make, doesn't diminish the quality of the show. But
but yeah,
I
there was
always
something
thought that,
that
like,
was
it's like, what about $1 million? What about, it's like, what about, a new car, a new house? They didn't want that. Larry Hagman could have been the first man on the moon, but no, he just wanted to be a regular run-of-the-mill astronaut. Janie, Major Healy. It's like Dr. Bellows. And then who was the guy? Roger. Tony, can I borrow Jeannie for an orgy?
Oh yeah, that's right.
But so he was
But
probably
that
the one
great
that
actor who was later on Bob
the Bob
Newhart.
Newhart show. What
Yeah.
was his name? Don't know his name.
Great wacky
Yeah.
neighbor. I mean, the perfect guy.
Oh, absolutely. And really the same guy,
Yeah.
Major Healy was the, Bob Newhart's neighbor. But in terms of why Darren Stevens, I mean, every once in a while he'd have an advertising thing, and Sam would pull out with her brain, not making anything disappear or appear, or reversing the time or calling Dr. Bombay or anything. She would come up with the advertising campaign that would save
Yes.
Tate
Yeah,
advertising.
Larry Tate.
Larry Tate.
Larry Tate.
Stevens? Yes, yeah. That I mean, but they're great
Now,
shows.
CB Michael, I've got some information, Bill. CB Michael says that Bewitched came from a movie with Veronica Lake called I Married a Witch.
Yes, that makes sense to me, and it rings all kinds of bells. Or it makes my remember Tabitha had to use her finger.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's right. Yeah, I Married a Witch. There you go.
Like most everything, most of those shows, most TV shows came from a movie. Like there was a what's her name? Lucille Ball. Lucille Ball did a movie about a blended marriage. She marries she's got like redheaded kids, and she marries, I forget who the guy was in it, but the movie was called Yours, Mine, and Ours. And
Was it Jimmy Stewart? No.
It was,
which became Please Don't Eat the Daisies. Or was Please Don't Eat the Daisies was a movie too, just like that.
About a big family that blended.
Yeah.
And but Yours, Mine, and Ours was a movie right in the 60s. And just about the time Sherwood Schwartz was had a deal to do a show, Brady Bunch. He stole Yours, Mine, and Ours became Brady Bunch, and
because they had the just gigantic family. Was it? I think it was Jimmy Stewart, wasn't it? Wasn't he the husband?
I don't know. We will have to. Oh, Henry Fonda. Maureen says Henry
Fonda.
That's right. That's Henry Fonda and Lucille Ball. And I've seen the movie. It's not that great. Cheaper by the Dozen or 12. Cheaper by the Dozen is a better movie about a big family, and it's funny.
That sounds
but there's
good
something
too.
weird. Henry Fonda doing comedy. It didn't work. There was something off about it.
It's a little bit. Yeah, he's more of a a lovable slow burn, like Mr. Roberts. You know what I mean? Well,
Mr. Roberts.
Gosh, these too many kids here. God damn.
So Mr. Roberts, Henry Fonda.
No. Yes.
William Powell.
William Powell,
Jimmy
Jack Lemmon,
Cagney,
and
and
Jack
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 Lemmon.
Lemmon.
All those 4 guys, and they're not all in a scene together. It's William Powell and Jack Lemmon and Henry Fonda
Henry
when they
Fonda.
make scotch out of a
Yeah.
Coca-Cola and the rubbing alcohol.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And William Powell is a doctor, so he knows.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Well, we use hair tonics. Got a cold tar base. And then, and Henry Fonda gets to be the taster. It does taste a little like scotch. What a
Yes.
great
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
My favorite thing about that movie, I think I've mentioned this to some of my friends because it's so funny. It's like here are these actors, like these real, Henry Fonda is real and Jimmy Cagney is, the quintessential. Everybody would talk about like, oh, he's the actor's actor, and Jack Lemmon has a certain subtlety. Meanwhile, they're doing all their stuff like as the guys on the ship. But they clearly used for the crew the guys that were in the Broadway show.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
so Henry Fonda would be like, "Nah, you Dolan, I'm gonna have to put you on report." Really kind of low-key. But then there'd be a sailor going, "Gee, Mr. Roberts," and you have to watch the movie, And then Henry Fonda yells at somebody, goes upstairs, and they have the shot of all the sailors looking up, And then someone says, "What's eating him?" And there's one guy going like this, And it's just like. It's like,
It is
it's
total
like they
Broadway
blew,
cast.
Yeah, they blew the budget on like the A-list talent, and it's like not that the Broadway guys weren't good. I'm sure they could do a ball change and a pirouette like nobody's business. But these were actors who said, let's just bring them in. They know the show. We'll use them, and they were. It's all like they're such caricatures of 40s, World War II sailors, as opposed to the more modern Henry Fonda and but yeah, that was like that Mr. Roberts is really one of my favorite movies.
Absolute favorites. And my brother and I used to watch it, and we didn't really get what was going on in the movie, but we liked the campy parts of it. When the guys go on Liberty and then the guy, drives his motorcycle into the water and then he goes, "My motorcycle," and he dives back in.
Off we go
would
into
laugh.
the wild blue yonder.
Yeah. But I remember watching this like with my dad, me and my brother watching with my dad, and these guys go on Liberty and they go, these guys go ransack through the town and absolutely get into all sorts of trouble, with the women and the,
So
but it was
when
all played for comedy.
Yeah, and it is played for comedy, and Henry Fonda is he's just gonna be on this ship waiting for the guys to come back. So they come back, and the MP, the military police that has corralled them and brought them all back, and he's going to explain it to them, and he's got this heavy Alabama accent, Well, for all people, anyway, it's Martin Milner.
It's Martin
who
Milner
was in Adam 12.
Yes, that's
The
right.
darndest thing, and then you see him on Adam 12, and he's the opposite.
Yeah.
There's no discernible accent, but it's a young Martin Milner who brought Pulver back from, in other words, the ship has to leave because they really goof up Liberty, and it's a black mark on Jimmy Cagney's Cagney's career.
So we ought to do it. We should do a movie show, Bill. We could pick our movies and just I've been meaning to do a movie podcast. And so maybe we could we'll have to plan it. And and there's a guy at Fox.
We
You
could
might know
perhaps
him.
even be in the same room, Tom.
Yes. Well, that's what I think. Maybe you could come over here, and I've been thinking inviting Dion Baya, Dion is a guy at Fox News. He's one of the sound guys, and he might have hooked you up in the past,
Probably.
at Fox. But he is he's very knowledgeable. He's younger than us, but he's very knowledgeable about old movies. Yeah.
Oh,
But
he grew up
in New Haven.
I was whatever I was talking to somebody, and I was talking to like old television, like kind of thing, like Honeymooners. I'm a big Honeymooners fan and all that stuff. And I was at like a family gathering, whatever it was, and one of my older aunts said, "How do you know the Honeymooners?" And I said, "Aunt Louise, it's reruns. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Because she's like, "You weren't alive in 1953." And she was, like, perplexed, and I'm like, You know they have reruns. You can watch them right now." It's
You can watch them now.
it's
Obviously, you can watch them on
70.
YouTube. But when we were kids, they would show. I mean, they showed The Honeymooners. They showed, all these shows like Gilligan's Island and the Beverly Hillbillies in reruns. But then when I was in college, they started cable, and the CBN, the Christian Broadcast Network, would go to sitcoms at night, old sitcoms. So I would watch Jack Benny, and I would watch Our Miss Brooks and the Many Lives of Dobie Gillis. So I really got. It wasn't until cable came along that I really started
Yeah, you
getting an
had to stay you
education in
had to
these old
stay
shows.
up. Now, I think, MeTV does Dick Van Dyke, either Friday and or Saturday nights back to back. And if you wanna laugh, you know, just watch, any scene with Maury Amsterdam and Rosemary and Dick Van
Oh
Dyke
yeah.
in the writer's room. Uh,
By the way,
back
did you see the Rosemary documentary?
No.
Oh my gosh,
Well,
Bill,
I'll
you're
have to
gonna lose
watch
it.
it. All right, I'll have to
It's
watch it because she's terrific.
She
You know?
is unbelievable. She was a
Yeah.
child star. I didn't
Oh,
realize.
yeah,
I
she
didn't
was
know.
like Little Rosemary, right? Wasn't that her
Yes.
name? Yeah,
Yes. Um,
it's unbelievable. But yeah, she had quite the history, and by the way, so did Maury Amsterdam. Do you know
oh
what I
yeah.
mean? But you see that they're in the room. It's like, what can go wrong? And then Richard Deacon walks in. It's like, hey, what happened? You left your you left your hair in the hallway. I'm talking to
Yeah.
Pickles and blah blah blah. Everything he said, everything Buddy says is a punchline and a joke, and it's like you never get him to say it. Never says anything serious. And then, of course, Dick Van Dyke. It's like just one of those casts. And then he goes home, and who's home waiting for him? Mary Tyler Moore. It's like, so, it's
And
these
she was
casts
so
are,
funny.
yeah,
So funny. Their scenes
yeah,
together, incredible.
yeah. And
Um,
against him, you know what I mean? It's like, so you have to be like good against Dick Van Dyke. So, yeah. So I'll watch that show if I feel like, let me
okay, the
see. And it's not
documentary
because
is
like,
called Wait for Your Laugh. Wait for Your Laugh, and I think it's on Netflix, but anyway, it's on Amazon. I'll post the link on here as well. It's unbelievable. She tells her whole story. I think it was made, I don't know, 20 years ago they did the interview
yeah.
with her or whatever because
And
she's not around.
she lived a long time.
Yeah.
Uh, and remember she
Um,
was on Hollywood Squares, you know,
yep. But,
Rosemary
but then,
and
and
Paul
I used to,
Lynde.
yeah, but I would see her on Hollywood Squares and I was like, oh, that's the woman from Dick Van Dyke. But the Dick Van Dyke chapter, that's what I knew of Rosemarie. Okay. That was just like one little tiny piece of her life. And they go over her whole life. Like, she was, she met Al Capone and like she knew the mobsters. Like, as a
Yeah,
kid,
she
Al
met Al
Capone wanted to
Capone and
meet
lived
her.
to tell about it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I ran into Al Capone. It's like, sorry, see you at the funeral. Yeah,
Yeah.
Al's gonna come and talk to me. So, but yeah, and she always had that little black ribbon in her hair,
Yeah.
which just became her totem, as we say in the film game. It was like
Yeah.
that's like that was always her thing, and even on like the Hollywood Squares when she was probably 70 if she was a day. Um, of course, Charlie Weaver was the old guy in that thing. I don't know where he came from. It was like Paul Lynde was always center square, and people are all over the place. And
Oh, yeah.
there's
Charlie
Don
Weaver.
Rickles
Yeah.
up there, but in the lowest one, obviously the one closest to where you walk in, is where they put Charlie Weaver. So it's like, oh, isn't it great? They got him in the lower left hand corner. It's like because he doesn't want to walk. He doesn't want to
Yeah.
walk all the way up to the top, where the Hudson brothers are. But
Yeah, and
uh,
like the Paul Lynde, I'm watching it as a kid, and the references I didn't, the jokes he would do, and I'm like, I remember one. I'm watching it as a kid, and the question, what's it, Peter Marshall or whatever they got, and he
yeah.
said, according to Realtors Weekly, what's the best part about living near the ocean? And and Paul says, sailors. And I was like, oh, he likes the military. I like, who doesn't like who doesn't like our men in uniform,
Yeah,
right?
he got away with that. They would have Charlie Callis on, who would just say, "Charlie Callis," he go, all that stuff. he did this one thing once where they're like Charlie Callis, and whatever the question was, it's like, um, who won the Battle of Little Bighorn? And then Charlie Callis be like, blah blah blah. He goes, well, he said he said the Indians shouldn't have won, but they did. And it's like, okay, well, that wasn't that funny. And then he goes like this, and he has an arrow. He had an arrow, so when he bent over, he arrows, but he did the. I think one of the times, after I had been toilet trained, that I wet my pants watching television, because it was just like it's like, well, blah blah. The Indians should have won, but they won, but they shouldn't have. Anyway, but yeah, that was a great show because I think they really had free run. I have a feeling that some people were given answers, but I think Paul Lynde probably wrote his own.
Yeah, you give them a little, a little cue up,
Yeah. Well, it's like anytime. It's like on the Tonight Show or something, and Johnny Carson would be like, so did you fly in today, or how was the flight? And then the whoever the comic is going to, do 5 minutes of his airplane thing. Really? So you're living in Encino now, Upper Encino, and the guy's like, oh, let me tell you about Encino, and it used to get me mad. It's like, oh no, he's just setting up their routine.
Yeah.
So it's like sit down comedy.
Well, you could see that. I think a lot of people didn't see it, but they still were doing that. On Letterman would do that. They would do a set.
And some people are better than others, but sometimes it's just like the guy's just reading off the card, ask about his new vacuum,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it sucks.
That's why I'll have to post. I should put it on here again. I got to make notes of all these things I have to post here on Locals. Was Byron Allen's Comics Unleashed. I did that show with Rich Little. I was on the panel with Richard Little, but on that show, that's all he does is set you up. So you submit your material, and then Byron Allen turns to you and he says, so I had that slow motion routine, the guy doing golf in slow motion, right? And so Byron Allen turns to me, he's like, so Tom, you like golf? It's like, yes, I do like golf.
I think one of the legacies of Jerry Seinfeld isn't just going to be like the hit TV show or Convenience Cars Doing Coffee. It's people imitating comics. It used to be Bob Hope, but I want to tell you, like seriously, Ladies and Germs and all that stuff. But now when people do a stand-up comic, they'll do like, what's the deal with golf? Yeah. Everybody does like their version of Seinfeld. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like one of the things. So anyway, yeah, but your golf bit is funny. You should post that because that's hysterical.
Well, that's on there. So if I got to find the Comics Unleashed. And by the way, I love Byron Allen. The guy's incredible. He's a billionaire. Like he's got $1 billion.
He's got he does cooking shows. He does all this great stuff.
Yeah. He just cranks it out. He's like one of the most successful syndicated producers. And like, I think, when we saw him, he was an actor on That's Incredible or something. Right.
Yeah, like
and then
host.
He just started, he became a total mogul.
He probably saw how the game worked and says like, I could do that.
Oh yeah.
So in other words, like being a billionaire is his side hustle. Remember the show Make Me Laugh?
Oh yeah. I mean, Make Me Laugh. They brought it back on Comedy Central.
But we would watch that and just like, and try not to laugh. For those you don't know, the gig is the conceit is basically that you're the contestant. So I'm the contestant sitting in the chair, and there's 3 comics, and your job is to make me, the contestant, laugh. And I'm just sitting there, and then the 3 comics would come up and do their best stuff to try anything from like gags to pratfalls to physical stuff to spitting out water.
And like I think Robin Williams was on it, right?
Oh yeah, at that point, everybody probably what the 70s. Everybody was on it. Murray Langston is the unknown comic, but Howard Hessman I think was on or Martin Mull. I mean, everybody was on that show.
Mm-hmm.
But really, a really funny idea. There's a guy who's on YouTube now, I think, where he watches crazy viral videos that are supposed to be funny, and how long can I go without laughing? Which is really the same kind of thing. Only instead
Yeah.
of comedians, it's viral videos, and they're very funny. I showed it to like one or both of my two sons, and they were like, "Yeah, I hate that guy." It's like why? He goes, he doesn't do anything. He just sits there and goes, "I'm not laughing. I didn't laugh." Meanwhile, you do get to see a clearinghouse of all these really, really funny videos, and you can laugh, but the guy can't, and that's his big thing. You see his studio set up, and it's like with like 1 million subscribers. It's like, but he's just not doing anything. So unless
Amazing.
he cultivates and and finds all the clips, I don't know, but they're pretty funny.
Well, Bill, this turned into I was going to go on and do a 20-minute live stream, and then I invited you in. So now this was really out of the ordinary and completely.
I have no idea why I clicked
impromptu.
on it. It came up on Locals. I'm like, Locals. I mean, talk about a place I should be posting more. I don't have the time, but it's like, Tom's on Locals. Let's see what it is. It's like YouTube. That's weird for Tom. I mean, you don't do this a lot, right? So,
Well, the thing is, that's because I can share my screen. Right? That's Sammy Davis Sr. there walking away.
Yeah.
I can share my screen on StreamYard, right? And so it's a good way to do live streams. But in order for this live stream to appear on Locals in its own little package, I need to like SMTP the thing. I got to figure out how to do it. And right now,
someone
I didn't have.
Someone will be able to tell you, really, like Rich Collier.
I know. I
another guy
bet.
at Fox.
I bet half the people on here know how to do it. I don't. Probably not actually. But
Well, that's like when you did a happy hour, right?
Yeah.
Someone was running that for you. That, in fact, was Rich Collier, and it was, you had 4 or 5 Zooms going on with, videos and pictures, and so he was doing that. So he'll probably know how to do it because that was StreamYard, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, it was StreamYard, and then but the thing about it is, and I'm sure the people at Locals are like, "Hey, dummy, this is how you stream to Locals." But with Locals, you go on Locals, they make it very easy. You click stream and you go live stream, and now you're on. But if you want to do it through StreamYard, you have to kind of like put in the right SMTP codes so it appears on the thing. And so when I do it to YouTube, and then I put the thing up there. But it would be nice if YouTube just came up like embedded on the screen. But you have to kind of click a link and then come to the YouTube
I'm
page.
sure there's all kinds of agreements. Like, we don't want it to be easy, they want it to be very difficult. So it's like, use our method. It's like, they don't want to like just go the easy route, because then like they want to have their own YouTube thing, I think, or whatever their thing of some Facebook.
Well, they do with Rumble. Their deal is with Rumble.
That's it.
Locals is paired with Rumble, but Rumble is like even harder to use than YouTube. It's like they make it. It's a little bit annoying. Rumble is weird. I know some people love it, but I don't spend much time there because
it's a learning curve. If you want to do it right away, and I've done things with like you, so I like put it in here, put it in there. It's like, let me just do it on YouTube. I get it up a lot faster. And then someone says, "Oh, you're still on YouTube, huh?" And you're like,
"Yeah, exactly."
Yes.
I mean, and I hate these guys. I hate Google. I hate the the whole. They're terrible.
Well, you should do like Shalua Vision. You should have that. You should make it. You just need to find the tech guru.
Yeah. So, all right, we can end the stream here, Bill. We'll do. Let's think of that movie show. Maybe me, you, and Dion will have to get together in the basement here, and we'll do. We each pick a couple of movies to talk about. Oh, look, Barbara's here. Did you just get here, Barbara? She writes, "Hi, Tom. Barbara, we're just about to sign off. I'll post this video once it's done. Once the stream is done, I'll post the link and everyone will be able to watch it
over and over again.
Yes, but for now, the live stream is over. I'm going to go have dinner, Bill.
I might
been fasting all day. Yeah, I haven't eaten anything since breakfast.
Your fast.
Yes.
So, anyway, no, this is a serendipitous happenstance. Completely enjoyable. But yeah, thanks for sending me the link. It was really fun.
All right, we'll do it again soon. And
all right,
and I'll see you.
We'll talk soon.